In this French Connections, we'll take you to one of Paris's most exciting and beautiful arrondissements, le 4e.
The 4th arrondissement has so much packed into it. There's Paris's City Hall, the Hotel de Ville, right there, but also iconic landmarks like Notre-Dame or incredible museums like the Pompidou Center.
It's also home to le Marais, Paris's historic Jewish neighborhood that's become a very trendy place with a vibrant culture scene and a vibrant gay scene as well.
Join us as we explore le 4e arrondissement de Paris. Believe it or not, I only just realized that Notre-Dame Cathedral, where we are now, is actually in the 4th arrondissement of Paris. In any case, it's now reopened to the public after a fire nearly destroyed it in 2019.
Before the fire, some 13 million people visited Notre-Dame Cathedral each year, making it the most visited monument in France, but also in Europe.
Notre-Dame is not just a place of worship and an incredible tourist destination. It's the very heart and soul of the French capital. And its almost 900-year history is a real reflection of the history of Paris itself.
Notre-Dame is located on Ile de la Cité, an island where once stood a Gallo-Roman city known as Lutetia. Part of that pagan city still lies directly below the cathedral. Notre-Dame's first stone was laid down in 1163, but it took almost 200 years to complete. It's considered one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture, with its pioneering use of flying buttresses and its enormous and colorful rose windows. But the cathedral wasn't always an adored feature of the capital. Following the Revolution of 1789, it was used as an enormous warehouse to store food, and rededicated to the cult of reason and later the cult of the supreme being. Revolutionary fighters even pulled down and decapitated 28 statues of the kings of Judah that adorned its facade, seen as symbols of the monarchy. The floating heads were lost to the world until they were discovered by accident almost 200 years later. The cathedral was in such disarray after the Revolution that Paris officials even considered its demolition. A young author named Victor Hugo was outraged and wrote his novel Notre-Dame de Paris in 1831 to raise awareness. He's credited with saving the church. The book was an immediate success and led to a major restoration project in 1843, overseen by an architect named Eugène Viollet-le-Duc. He added many features that people are familiar with today, including many of the gargoyles and chimeras. Notre-Dame is Point Zero, marking the center of Paris and the point from which all distances in the country are measured. You might say that in France, all roads lead to Notre-Dame. Just behind Notre-Dame, you'll find Ile Saint-Louis, a picturesque island in the middle of the River Seine, known for its charming streets and where I think you find the best ice cream in Paris.
Me too. We're off now to meet Australian podcaster Oliver G. He's going to fill us in on some other lesser-known highlights of the 4th arrondissement. Hey, Oliver.
Flo, Genie, how you guys doing?
I feel like we're in some kind of incredible chateau in the middle of Paris. Where are we?
Let me tell you this whole district is full of secrets, and we're on a secret rooftop of the Hôtel de Sully. Not a hotel, but an aristocratic mansion from 400 years ago, and pretty well, perfectly preserved, one of the most beautiful courtyards in Paris. Shall we see it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Welcome to the gardens of the Hôtel de Sully, one of my sort of favorite secrets in this district. Often quite quiet, in fact, almost always quite quiet. In terms of the building itself, we walk through the courtyard, which is just simply stunning. But for me, the real pearl is coming through into this garden, seeing this old orangerie, seeing the silver oak tree behind you. a little sundial up there from 400 years ago. It's just picture perfect Paris, and I love it.
And these days, the Hôtel de Sully houses the Centre des Monuments Nationaux, which manages all the monuments around France, but there's a lot more going on as well.
Sure. I think all that kind of stuff happens behind closed doors. What we can see as visitors is sometimes they have classical music right there, little private shows. They have Fashion Week things often in here. But mostly it's a place of sort of tranquility where you can get away from it all. For me, though, it's mostly a brilliant shortcut through to one of my favorite parts of Paris.
And there's a secret passageway you're going to
With a secret passageway, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go. So Oliver, we have arrived at a place that is really peak Paris. This is the Place des Vosges, a beautiful square, the first planned square in Paris. What's so special about it?
You said it with the word beautiful. I mean, this is a place where even Parisians like to come to just sort of be inundated with that beauty. It's a sort of a real living square. So you see around there's these sandboxes where kids come and play. The grass is popular real estate in the summer. You can't get a square inch of this to yourself if it's a sunny day. But I think mostly it's just one of these rare green spaces in this district where you can come and enjoy the sun if it's out.
And the Place des Vosges also has so much history. There have been a lot of artists and intellectuals and thinkers over the years. Who's lived here?
Well, imagine, so this is 400 years old, which I mean, for central Paris, you don't get many places like this that are 400 years old. And as you said, throughout the history, there's been all kinds of people who've lived here. But I think the most famous is old Victor Hugo, who was over in that corner. And I mean, I think a lot of people know his work, Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre-Dame. But for me, what the coolest thing is his house has become a museum, a free museum at that. And you can pop in and just have a look at the inside of one of these buildings, which even if you're not a Victor Hugo fan, is totally worth just getting that opportunity.
Oliver, you host the Earful Tower, which is a podcast about Paris with all sorts of quirky details. You love all the hidden parts of Paris, and now you're going to take us to a wall that people should know about.
Brace yourself, because this is one of my favorite things in the whole city.
Let's go.
Awesome, let's go.
Let's do it. So here we are at the Philippe Auguste Wall, one of my favorite things, not just in this district, but in all of Paris. We're talking about an 800-year-old wall that once was like the shield of the city when the king, Philippe Auguste, went off on crusades around France. This was the shield he built to protect the city. And what I love about it is it's sort of hidden all over the city, and you can find these vestiges. And behind me is the biggest chunk left. And it's, as an Australian, to see an 800-year-old anything like this is a marvel.
You might be able to hear those tweets and the kids screaming. This is now a sports area for kids that go to a school nearby. How cool that they're right here. This was actually a gate to Paris.
Said that bit there, you could imagine there were two just like it, and it would have been one of the entrances into the city.
And where else does the wall pop up around Paris?
Where to even begin? Imagine it's like a circle. It's kind of like Paris was much smaller 800 years ago, but if you imagine a circle that goes through the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth districts, and you find these towers popping up in restaurants and gardens and all sorts of unexpected places. Even in the Louvre. The fortress is in the Louvre, kind of the best preserved part. But for me, it's like that mystery of where's it going to pop up next and can I find it? And that just keeps me going.
And if you actually want to learn more about the wall or take a tour with Oliver, you can reach out. Oliver, thank you so much for being our guide to the 4th arrondissement.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you.
The 4th arrondissement is also famous for the charming and historic district, Le Marais.
Le Marais used to be a marshland. In French, Marais means marsh. It developed in the 12th century and quickly became a favorite of aristocrats who built massive hôtels particuliers, mansions just like the Hôtel de Sully.
Unlike other parts of Paris that were flattened and restructured in the 19th century, the Marais has kept its original medieval footprint. That means you'll find lots of charming narrow streets and hidden courtyards.
These days, Le Marais is famous for its bustling cafe culture and trendy atmosphere, and it's also home to Paris's historic Jewish quarter.
The The first Jewish settlers came to the Marais in the Middle Ages. By the early 1900s, it was the heart of Paris's Jewish community. France was the first European country to recognize Jews as citizens with civil rights. The area around the Rue des Rosiers became known as the Pletzel, or Little Square, a home away from home for thousands of Jews fleeing pogroms in Eastern Europe. But that refuge soon became a trap. During World War II, the Marais was targeted by Nazis occupying France. Some 76,000 French Jews were deported. Just 2,500 survived the concentration camps. After the war, much of the Marais was abandoned and shunned by Parisians. But little by little, the Jewish quarter came back to life.
Après même la Shoah, certains juifs, dont mes parents et moi-même, sont arrivés pour habiter dans ce quartier qui était très pauvre, qui était vieux, en ruine, insalubre, sale, vraiment, c'était terrible. Et normalement, il aurait dû être rasé, ce quartier.
The Marais today is still home to a 1914 Art Nouveau synagogue designed by Hector Guimard. It's also famous for its food, with amazing bakeries, falafel shops, and kosher delis to discover. Over the years, another community has adopted the Marais as well. Starting in the 1970s, its unique charm and cheaper rents brought in the LGBTQ+ community.
Je viens de province, donc c'est vrai que chez moi, l'homophobie, on la ressent vachement, quoi. On est vraiment agressé verbalement, quoi.
In recent years, rising rents have priced out many gay-owned businesses. They have been replaced by high-end boutiques. Even though it's become greatly gentrified over the past few years, the Marais remains the heart of the city's LGBTQ+ community today.
You'll find all sorts of cool gay bars and clubs, and it's certainly a place to come check out if you're in Paris during Pride.
The 4th arrondissement is a welcoming place with an open-minded spirit and an area you should definitely see the next time you're in Paris.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check out the next episode of French Connections, where we'll deep dive into another neighborhood of the capital.